Welcome to Baldurs Gate 3, 1 Druid, 3 builds. So, hail and matches kings and queens, it's me, Spot the King, and today will be no long intro. Let's go straight to important stuff, because if you don't know, there's a bunch of mechanics from Druid. If you don't know how to utilize them or how they work, you can actually break your build. It will be completely unplayable. And today all builds will be for new subclass in patch 8, Circle of the Stars. But when you create your character, it's really important to pick nice and useful race, unlike in most other builds, especially considering how versatile can this subclass be. With armors everything okay, light armor, medium armor and shield proficiency is what we need. Weapons is a little bit limited. Clubs, daggers, quarterstaffs, basically quarterstaffs is really good of course, there's no insanely good and powerful weapons that we will need for our druid. That's why picking elf as your main race is really important. So we're going for elf of course, to get proficiency in long swords and long bows, our initial and most important weapons we will use. For sub-race we go with boot elf for extra movement speed, it's really powerful, but you can pick high elf if you wish extra cantrip. And that's our druid. That's our druid. Okay, she's ready. Starting cantrip, they will actually matter. And there's two choices you can make. If you will have cleric in your party, then just forget about guidance. If you don't have cleric, then definitely go for guidance. And then for early game, Chalice is insanely powerful staff that will give extra bludgeoning damage to your basic attacks when you're using basically any staff, quarterstaff, club, whatever. Turn whip, nice, low damage, but it will pull enemies closer to you. You can pull them off the cliffs. Also very nice in early game. There's a lot of vertical combat, so you can pull goblins from the cliffs. And Produce Flame is also cool. Some fire damage. It's also will be really important to have a little bit of fire at your arsenal in some situations. Background doesn't matter. You can go for Acolyte just for role-playing purposes. And our ability distribution. So technically there's just 3 important abilities. Dexterity for armor class and initiative, Constitution to survive and keep concentration, and Wisdom, because that's your main spellcasting ability that will be used for your spells to disable enemies or deal damage. And having high constitution is really important for druid. Since we don't have proficiency in constitution saving throws, when distributing your stats I recommend keeping constitution at 15. And you can go for this min-max version of your stats if you're planning to use hack hair to get +1 to wisdom, or get 16 wisdom and allocate +2 into strength to being able to move objects, jump further, or charisma for better ability checks in dialogues. So technically we are ready. Understand how druid mechanics work, and that's how you actually can break your build completely. So let's quickly level up our druid to level 12 and see what we will get from Circle of the Stars Druid. First of all, you get in wild shape charges, but you will be able to use them as starry forms, as well as star map. Star map will give you ability to use guiding bolt. So basically it's like completely free way to use a bunch of guiding bolts in your day without consuming spell slots. You can become any animal if you wish, but most importantly 3 different starry forms. Starry form Dragon, that will give us better concentration and ability. This will be used for our Radiant Concentration control build today. Starry form Chalice, that will give you ability to heal like a mad healer. That will be used for support healer build today. And Starry form Archer, for insanely cool arcane archer basically. As druid you will know all spells, you don't need to learn them basically, but you need to prepare them before the fight. That's why in every build I will explain what spells we prepare at each level basically. After reaching level 4, druid as other classes unlock 1 extra feat, but our key level is level 5. That's where we get our star map, so once again we get 1 more ability, 1 more guiding bolt per day basically, very nice to have it. And level 6 is the most magic and cool level for us, because we unlock new resource Cosmic Omen. So every long rest we will consult with Cosmic Omen basically and recharge it. And we can use our reaction to change outcomes of certain rolls. Basically we can inflict +1 d4 to attack rolls or saving throws, and it can be increased for our attack rolls and saving throws or decrease for enemies. Also we can increase our allies ability checks. That's the big one. So basically if you got Star Druid in your party, level 6 with guidance, it's just completely broken combo for a lot of extra numbers on ability checks. And now the biggest question, should we continue as druid? Normally druids is really one of the classes that you want to build towards the end, because the more levels in a druid you have, the the more powerful your forms will get if you're going for Moon Druid, the better you will sustain your necrotic extra damage with extra health points from Sport Druid and so on. But for Circle of the Stars Druid, that's what you get. At level 9 you get more resources, so one more use of Omen, one more use of Star Map, and that's basically 3 levels from where we are right now. And on level 10 you get advanced star forms. In Dragon form you will be able to fly, in Chalice form and in Archer form you will be able to deal more damage with your special ability or heal more damage. So if you ask me, leveling this druid up to level 10 and even 12 is actually not really important, because level 10 kinda not gives us a lot of extra power, and while it's viable, you can play it like this. Technically the coolest part that level 10 will give you, ability to change your star forms while in combat, and it will be free action every turn. So basically right now I'm in Chalice form, I skip the turn, wait an environmental turn, and now I can change to Dragon. So here's the problem, yeah, you can do it, you can change your abilities while in combat, so you kinda can deal damage. In case you need to heal, you can change to Chalice, and it's also viable. But as you may know, if you got correct gear, power of your character will rise significantly. That's why we actually need to build a right gear combination around our forms, and that's why we will make 3 different multi-class builds today. Now let's quickly look how our star forms work actually. So, in Chalice, you will have this ability to heal extra 2d8 plus 4 hit points. Plus 4 comes from our wisdom bonus, so it can be plus 5 at maximum wisdom. However, it can be only activated when you heal yourself or another creature. So using potion won't work. But when you use magic, this will activate Chalice of Healing, so you can completely freely heal yourself or another creature. Technically, this makes us probably one of the best healers in the game. In Dragon form, you will get this cool ability, Dazzling Breath. This is actually probably one of the most broken spells in the game right now. There's a lot of damage, there's dexterity saving throw, but the coolest part is bonus action. So it looks like this large area of effect, you just breath with your Dragon Breath, 46 plus your wisdom radiant damage with bonus action, no other resource cost. So unlike for example Sport Druid, as Sport Druid you need to keep your extra hit points to deal a little bit of necrotic damage on hit, and this damage is around like 1d4, 1d6, something like this. Here you can every turn deal 46 plus 4 radiant damage. Yeah, we're high level right now, it will be lower and low levels, but whatever. Basically you're dealing insane amount of radiant damage just with bonus action every turn. And as druid you don't have loads of like usage of your bonus actions actually. Most of the time you will keep your bonus action for healing word to pick up your teammates with spell slots, so stuff like that. So Dragon form is completely broken for another reason also, and it's not for ability to fly. Ability to fly is also cool, of course, at level 10, but most importantly, when you are in Dragon form, you can maintain concentration a lot easier, because when you roll result 9 or lower to keep concentration, it always will be considered a 10. So technically by stacking a lot of ways to keep our concentration, we can never lose concentration, and that's probably one of the best concentration builds in the game by using this druid form. And last but not least, Archer will be used for our Cancellation Archer, our Magic Archer, Arcane Archer, call it however you like. It looks and technically do almost the same stuff as our Dragon form, but we will be using our range ability. Damage is a little bit lower, it's not area of effect damage, but still, it's every turn, bonus action, 1d8 plus 4 radiant damage until level 10, and you just use your magic bow and hit magic arrow, just like that. It looks pretty cool, it feels pretty cool, and we'll make insane build of it. But here's the catch. That's basically how you can brick all your druid builds just with one simple mistake. Most of druid actions and stuff that will give you a spellcasting modifier to attacks like Chalice for example, will use your wisdom. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier. But take a look over here. For example, we're using Luminous Arrow at this bro and dealing some damage. He's done. How it's calculated? Basically, it's our 1d20 at roll plus our proficiency modifier plus wisdom modifier to hit. So pretty obvious, yeah? But if you will decide to change your class at any time of the game and add multi-class, if you're adding multi-class with some spellcasting ability, so fighter won't work. Basically, spellcasting classes with this star shape above your spellcasting ability will affect this interaction. It will instantly change everything. For example, if you're playing wizard and you've learned a lot of spells from wizard and then you switch to Sorcerer, then all spells will use Intelligence as your spellcasting ability still. All old spells that you learned from Wizard, and new spells from Sorcerer will use Charisma. But for Druid it works, or I bet I would say it doesn't work like completely, because Druid will always get spellcasting ability of last, you see, Wisdom as our attack roll. Now take a look over here. So we will hit him anyway, and we're using Wisdom for attack roll, but for damage roll we're starting to use Intelligence. Yeah, I got 8 Intelligence, that's why we got -1 to attack roll basically, instead of +4 from Wisdom, and that's really a big deal. So you need to be extra careful when using stuff like that, and always double check, is your spells working right. To fix this problem, you can't pick one more level in Druid, but you can pick any other class that using Wisdom for spellcasting, like Cleric for example. It will override Wizard and we will start to use Wisdom again. But the best way of course is to start as Wizard and then multiclass into Druid if you want these types of multiclasses. That's something really important to keep in mind when you're building your Druids, but luckily that's the biggest mistake you can make. So by starting as Druid, getting Circle of the Stars on level 2 and Resilient Constitution Fit at level 4, and then instantly switching into Life Domain Cleric with Light, Sacred Flame and Toll of the Dead cantrips, and basically continuing as Cleric until level 8, when you get one more feat. This feat will be Warcaster, to help you keep concentration even more by giving you advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration, and then going with this Cleric up to level 6 to gain Blessed Healer that will give you ability to heal yourself when you're healing others. Then you can continue as Druid until level 6 to unlock this Cancellation, Concentration, basically stuff that will give you +1d4 to attack rolls or saving throws. But to make this build completely busted, better to stay on Cleric still and hit level 8 on Cleric. So we're going with 8 Cleric for Druid. At Cleric level 8 you get Divine Strike Radiant, you will deal extra radiant damage on hit, and also you will get one more feat. This feat can be just ability improvement into Wisdom, and that's everything you need. And as you can guess, we're going for full supportive healing Druid Cleric. As Druid you will get access to bunch of cool utility spells like Enhanced Sleep, like Long Strider, so you can buff yourself and your party before the combat and get ability to move for more distance or even to jump for further distance if needed, as well as some utility spells for your exploration. Speak with Animals, Goodberry for extra healing materials that you will use at the end of the day by consuming all unused spell slots, and bunch of concentration spells that will affect how battle goes. Hold Person to keep person at place and completely demolish, Spike Grows for zone control, and you can go for Moonbeam for nice concentrated area damage. You will get one more spell slot, so pick any spell you like, but let's go to Cleric. Also as Druid you will get Storm Up, don't forget you can use Guiding Bolt, and as Cleric you will get a lot of spells, but also you will get all needed spells over here ready. So basically you will get ability to heal your party, to bless your party for extra saving throws and attack rolls, you will get ability to buff your party with extra health, revive your party if needed, and give protection from being downed with Dash Ward. To maximize our potential, even more healing spells. Healing Word, Mass Healing Word, Spirit Guardians as our concentration spell, and if you want to be a menace in a battle, Spiritual Weapon is also nice pick. Then as a spells, pick whatever you like from Cleric, you can pick Animate Death for Undead Army or whatever you want. Also as Cleric you will have Channel Divinity charges, they will recharge on short rest and you will be able to heal 36 health. So for example, Will right now got 145 health. By casting 8 on him and on ourselves of course, he will have 170 right now. And as you can see, he's not very lucky in combat. He already starting to lose this fight to get yanked, so we need to go and help him out. And you can help him a lot with this correct gear. So we're going for Staff of Arcane Blessing and using it with a shield of course. In my Canid colony, after you talk with Blurk and get quest from his octopus friend, find way straight to Arcane Tower. Here you want to find a way how to get on to the bottom of the tower and right behind of it. Break the door and here, and it's pretty forgotten by a lot of players. If you look closely over here, there's actually a secret door, and there's a bunch of ways how you can get access inside. You can actually even like rotate the map and see that there's a secret cellar over here. So one way is pretty fun. You can stand over here, and if you aim precisely, you can actually jump down, but you need to make sure you got Featherfall or some other ways to land safe. You can finish all quests in tower, and if you do it successfully, you will also be granted access to the secret passage basically. But if you get access to Mage Hand cantrip, you can cast it over here, and with Mage Hand you can activate lever from the back of the door. It will open secret door, and now you can go inside. In my opinion, that's the best and most fun way to do it. And here at the bottom secret floor there is Staff of Arcane Blessing. That's what we are looking for. Looks cool, and also this staff will give you Bless spell basically with Mistress Blessing. Bless will grant additional 1d4 to saving throws and weapon attack rolls, and additional 2d4 to spell attack rolls. That's insanely big, especially for early game. Most your spells will have low chances to hit, but this extra 2d4, oh my goodness, that's so good. This, especially casted before the fight, will give ability to hit targets a lot easier. For example, right now we get 80% chance to hit, but under effect of this advanced blessing we will have 90% to hit instantly. In reality it's 100% almost. But most importantly, with Mr. Blessing we got this bonus also to spell attack rolls, and that's exactly spell attack roll. Normally it's a little bit harder to hit with spells, especially at early levels, but you will be completely fine. And of course it will be Chalice Druid build if you haven't guessed yet, and that's where the fun begins. We're using our wild shape form of Chalice, of course. If you're in Act 3, you will have access to Armor of Moonbasking that will give you 22 temporary hit points when you're using this wild shape. And now in combat, as cleric basically you enter in combat and you decide what you want to do. If you already need to heal someone like Will, you just use your Channel Divinity Preserve Life for 36 healing. 36 health of healing is a lot, but that's a lot more actually. And coolest part, if you got hit yourself also, you can go in and tank some damage. That's why for this build we're not going for heavy armors, we're going for pretty low like 18, 20 AC, 20 with a shield. Enemies will try to hit us most often. If our allies have more AC, we will take damage and we will heal allies while at the same time healing ourselves. But don't forget, every time you heal someone, they will receive Bless and Blade Ward. So now Will have bonus to attack roll saving throws. Also, if he will have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing and slashing damage, it will be a lot harder to defeat him now. Basically, we talk with Zevlor, and after you finish Zevlor's quest, he will give you Hell Rider's Ride. Quest is to eliminate Kaga, so it's not like instant get and grab these gloves, but gloves is really good. When you heal another creature, it will gain resistance against bludgeoning, piercing and slashing damage. The next one is also in Emerald Grove. You need to find Walla, and don't even speak with him before you get some gold or something to barter. Instead of talking with him, just initiate trade and he will sell you Whispering Promise. Very nice ring that will give plus 1d4, bonus to attack rolls and saving throws after you heal a creature. On upcoming turns you need to decide what you wish to do actually. Wish you to continue healing, you can go for Beacon of Hope, its concentration spell, or you can just go for our basic Spirit Guardians, cast it with Radiant or Necrotic damage, run around and deal some damage to enemies. Still no one needs heal, next turn Guardian of Faith. Just place him on the battlefield and he will start hitting enemies left and right. And with bonus action just use Spiritual Weapon, so this will take a fight versus other enemies. Guardian and Spiritual Weapon require no concentration, so if you wish you always can use Bless. But yeah, Spirit Guardians require concentration, so try to find what you want to do as this character in the battle. Do you need some extra damage? Do you need more supportive abilities? And you can support everyone, even your Spiritual Weapon and even your Guardian of Faith. Heal allies with bonus action, unlock Chalice of Healing, heal them again, and all of this for a lot of extra health every time. After arriving to Goblin Camp, turn right immediately and talk with Grad the Trader. Besides one of the most broken items in early game, Returning Pike, he also sells bunch of cool items, Boots of Aid and Comfort. When we heal a target, the target will gain temporary hit points. Not a lot, but it will add up a lot, considering how much we can heal. So that's a big one, and pretty much like insane healer and like semi-tank at the same time. We're tanking because we got bunch of extra hit points and can regain them fairly quickly. Now straight to the second build. Start in completely same way, with Resilient Constitution feat at level level 4, but this time we will go up to level 5 as Druid to unlock cool concentration spells like Cold Lightning. However, from level 5, while you definitely can hit level 6 and then respec your character, final build for end of Act 2, where you will hit level 10, will be with Cleric multi-class. Again, Cleric, yeah. However, this time we're not going to heal everyone, we're going to destroy everyone in our side, and we're going for Light Domain Cleric with loads of fire spells, insane warding flare ability, and most importantly, on second level of Cleric we will get Radiance of Dawn, which is very powerful channel divinity ability. At level 4 we get one more feat, again it will be just ability improvement. Again it will be a Warcaster to keep our concentration even easier, and getting Cleric to level 5, so 5-5 distribution. This will unlock Spirit Guardians of course. Then I would get 6 levels in Druid and 6 levels in Cleric total. As you can guess, for gear for this build we're going for full Radiant Orb gear. So boots can be Boots of Striding or Boots of Stormy Clamour. Stormy Clamour will give you more offensive abilities, while Boots of Striding will completely block enemy's ability to destroy our concentration. In Myconid Colony, after you talk with Blurk and get quest from his octopus friend, find way straight to Arcane Tower. Here you want to find a way how to get on to the bottom of the tower and right behind of it. Get Saucer Bloom, break the door and activate Power Generator by using Saucer Bloom. Yeah, it works on green energy basically. Very progressive wizard lift here. And most of the time you just go on second floor, ascend on elevator, go to secret floor basically, and get Tongue of Magnus over here, as well as T-Mask Spores. That's ingredients needed for our quest. Back to Squidward in Myconid Colony, and after finishing quest he will unlock his inventory so you can buy something from him. Boots of Stormy Glamour is what we're looking for. From Goblin Camp we probably will go through this door in Priestess Quarters entrance. And then after solving puzzle we will get access to a secret door that will lead us to Underdark. Near waypoint in Selenite Outpost we're definitely jumping up and opening a Pulling chest. It's trapped, so be careful, and getting Luminous armor inside. So whenever we deal radiant damage we cause Radiant Shockwave that will inflict Radiant Orb upon enemies that will lower their attack rolls and they will less likely hit us. While this is condition, Boots of Stormy Clamour will inflict a reverberation based on this condition and probably will make enemies fall prone, take 1d4 thunder damage and get penalty to strength, dexterity and constitution saving throws. We pair this stuff with Gloves of Billaging Skies, so whenever we deal radiant and thunder damage we deal 2 turns of reverberation upon enemy, therefore again completing our loop of extra reverberation, and Coruscation Ring in combination with Kalos Glow Ring to inflict Radiating Orb when enemies is illuminated by light source, as well as deal 2 points of extra radiant damage. And you definitely want to use a shield as well as for our previous build, but for this time we're switching weapon to Faller Aloof, and we'll be using this basically for full game if you wish to. On top of Selenite Outpost you will see these mushrooms over here, and that's where we want to go next, since there's Faller Aloof Blade. If you got enough strength or religion you can definitely pull it out really easily. If you fail, just spill some blood over here, hit someone with arrow or with sword attack. And for amulet it will be Spine Shatter Amulet of course. And I almost forgot about Holy Lance Helmet that will give you ability to inflict radiant damage when someone misses attack against us. For Druid spell list we're going with most powerful concentration spells possible: Cold Lightning, Spike Growth for zone control, and utility stuff Long Strider, Enhanced Sleep, Speak with Animals, and any stuff you like. From Cleric honestly all we need is our Channel Divinity Charge, but you can easily pair it with other powerful stuff from Cleric like Spiritual Weapons and definitely Spirit Guardians. To make sure we're lighted with the light source to inflict extra damage we need to cast Light as Cleric of course, and this build will have such unlimited options that you can solve any situations. For example, she just tried to hit me but got fallen prone with Radiating Orb, but that's basically how it works. For the best result you want to try to use Faller Aloof Melody before fight starts and use Shake for extra thunder damage. Then on first turn you want to cast Spirit Guardians or Call Lightning, depending on situations. Basically when you fight enemies with Radiant Retort you got options right now, you're not forced to use only Spirit Guardians. You can completely freely use Call Lightning against them and completely demolish. For Starry form of course it will be built for Dragon form, and definitely don't cast it in a fight, it costs bonus action, so you can cast it outside of combat and keep this form for whole day. So with Spirit Guardians we're dealing radiant radiant damage, it triggers a bunch of our rings, it triggers Falar Aloof for extra thunder damage, we inflicting conditions, it will trigger other stuff, inflict more conditions, more damage, and basically it's kind of like self-looping loop that deals lots of damage. But also every turn, as this type of character, you will be able to use Dazzling Breath. So now you just run around, inflict conditions, destroy concentrations, deal a large amount of extra radiant damage on top, and basically turn 2 is deadly turn for your enemies, because you're not only dealing damage with your Spirit Guardians, but also, again, you're using Dazzling Breath as bonus action. You can even provoke opportunity attacks. If they hit, they will take damage. If they miss, they will take damage. So no matter what, they will take damage basically. But also with action on turn number 2, you want to cast Radiance of Dawn, which is insane source of extra radiant damage for a big large area with extra thunder damage to enemies who is nearby. And that's what most broken part of this build. It kinda covers all problems of basic light cleric. And when enemy even tries to hit us, we can impose disadvantage and they will probably miss on the next one. And as you can see, it's easy to keep concentration. We're keeping our concentration without any problem. And they just trying to hit but missing all the time. Anyway, take a look at our concentration. So even if I roll 1, it will be considered as 10. I'm adding my proficiency to difficulty class, so it's always at least 14. We're adding +1 from helmet, and we're always adding +3 from constitution modifier because we got resilient feat. So at least +8 to our saving throw. Considering most of enemies will just miss us, and most difficulty checks won't go above like 15, and most hardest like check will be at least maybe like 18 or something like this, it's basically impossible to break concentration. So we will just continue to run around, deal damage with Spirit Guardians, Breath is our Dragon Breath, and use Radiance of Dawn as much as we wish. And yeah, if you forgot, when we deal this type of damage, enemies got a lot of Radiant Orb stacks. It will go up to 10 stacks easily. This means they will have -10 to Attic rolls, and it will be almost impossible to hit us or our friends. But let's finally make a build that will hit our enemies. So I tried new fighter subclass, Arcane Archer or Magic Archer, whatever. And while it's cool on paper, it's actually not so cool when you try it, at least in my opinion. But this build will make it insanely cool. So for this character, our start will be a little bit different. Instead of focusing on dexterity, constitution and wisdom, we actually want to forget about dexterity to make it as powerful as possible. And we will start and make our build focusing on 3 stats: constitution for survival, intelligence and wisdom. And yeah, you want to start with stats like 15 and 17 over here. Sometimes I see a lot of comments like, why not you start with 16 for example, and then add +2, so you always have this round numbers instantly. And the problem, when you start 16, you can't go 16 in third stat. That's basically the problem. So when you're maxing out, if you start with 16, then one of your stats will be 14. That's basically the reason. But we don't need strength, dexterity and charisma. Therefore, we're starting with 16 constitution, 15 intelligence, 17 wisdom. Now, as Magic Archer, you're going for Circle of the Lands and want to focus on study form Archer. But at this point, you can't access your bow normally. So you will use study form Archer, and you will use this luminous arrow every turn to use bonus action to inflict radiant damage with your magic bow. But then you will play like a normal druid, so basically you will use Guiding Bolt from range as your spell, cast cantrips, and you will be this magical bro. If you wish to use bow as your weapon, then definitely you can use Spell Thief or Jolt Shooter at this point, but then you need to respect your character later, because you will need a lot of dexterity at this point to be able to hit target. But when you reach Gitianki Crash, you will get Gloves of Dexterity, you will just buy it, and this will set your dexterity score to 18. That's why we started with constitution, intelligence and wisdom. So now we can use bow. Bow will be Jolt Shooter for the start of the game. You can use any boots you like. And for rings it will be Conduit Ring from Gitianki Crash, and Coruscation Ring will still work to inflict Radiating Orb from time to time with our attacks. For our weapon, however, we're going with Creation Echo, so in case we need, we can deal some cantrip damage with Acid, Fire, Lightning and get resistance to these damage types. We're keeping Shield so we have more armor class even while using a bow. For boots, it doesn't matter, use any boots you like. And for armor, you're looking for Dark Justiciar Half Plate in Act 2. This plate will give you ability to concentrate on Shar Ages. So basically you start a day by concentrating on Shar Ages, it will give you armor class and concentration. This concentration will trigger extra psychic damage on hit. And you will have such high ACs that enemies will most likely ignore you. Now, how we continue leveling this druid? Basic. Since we will be using bow, we want to get double attack as fast as possible. Therefore, we're going for fighter. Fighting style archery will help us hit targets more often. On next level, we will get action surge, so we get 2 actions at the start of the combat every short rest, in case we need it. And at third level of fighter, we'll unlock our subclass. It will be arcane archer, of course, with new cantrip, light and different kinds of arrows. So these arrows can inflict different conditions, and that's why we need intelligence, because success of the spells will be determined by your intelligence. It will be added to difficulty class. Some of them, however, require no attack roll, so while you will have 100% chance to hit with this arrow, it will have a lot lower damage than on display in reality, since there's no attack roll. And the arrows we're going for is banishing arrow to have ability to basically remove enemy from fight for 2 turns, bursting arrow to deal large amount of force damage to nearby targets in area, and we will go for grasping arrow that will deal poison damage, but also it will slow down enemies as well as deal slashing damage when they move for 10 turns. That's insanely powerful and crazy stuff. At level 4 we unlock feat for fighter, and this feat should be ability improvement +1 intelligence +1 wisdom for higher chance to hit with our spells. Then we get level 5 of fighter for extra attack, and of course level 6 for 1 more feat. This feat can be sharpshooter lean to deal more damage with your basic bow attacks, but this will give you penalty to your attack rolls, and that's something you don't want to do as this type of character. Instead you want to have more wisdom or even more intelligence. And we continue as arcane archer to get ability to use magic arrow to overcome resistance of enemies with our arrows, and curving shot. In case we miss, this happens sometime, we can use bonus action to attack closest target instead with our shot, in case we need it. Also we will get 1 more arrow, and arrow I like is shadow arrow. It will make enemy blind, it will raise our chances to hit this enemy as well as lower his chances to hit us. And level 8 fighter will give us 1 more feat, so there's loads of feats is available for this build when we're going this road. And we're getting +2 intelligence over here. And now we're switching back to druid, getting 1 more level of druid, and finishing as druid with 1 more ability improvement and getting +2 intelligence. However, again, you can pick sharpshooter whenever you like. For this build we're definitely using Helm of Arcane Equity from Act 2, and whenever we deal damage with weapon attack we gain Arcane Equity for 2 turns. And that's how it works. Again, as druid we will get access to bunch of cool utility spells, but also to bunch of really cool control spells and some concentration spells like Moonbeam, Hold Person, Hit Metal, basically a lot of crazy utility stuff. As fighter we get access to Action Surge. And here's the point. Basically whenever we aim at targets we get some chances to hit, and of course we get chances to hit with our concentration disabling spells. Chances to hit with them determined by our spell save DC, and this determined by main spellcasting ability. For Hold Person it will be Wisdom, for example. As I told you, for arcane shots and other stuff it will be our intelligence. It will determine our difficulty class. But with Helm of Arcane Equity, whenever we hit something like this barricade even, we get Arcane Equity, and it can stack up to 10 times. This means we will have +10 bonus to spell save DC, and now chances to Hold Person will be almost like 100% for any creature we see. For full damage of Moonbeam, also the same. And you can start fight by utilizing all your resources. With this build you will have 7 arcane arrows and 2 shots of them from the start of the fight. So basically you can like slow the big guy, if he moves he will take some damage, blind someone on the high ground so they will miss you, pop Action Surge, and disable half of the battlefield with Spike Growls, all on the same turn. And yeah, that's not it. Of course, you also get action to Luminous Arrow as bonus action. This will be great against some small guys, and you will easily destroy them. This can be used once per turn. Now just look at them. They trying to move, he will take damage when moving, and basically by kiting you can destroy guys like that. So melee enemies will have no chances against us. And funniest part, how brutal broken our abilities is right now. So normally you will have a pretty low chance to succeed when you want, for example, banish enemy from existence, but right now we got 100% to destroy him from existence. Why? Because this arcane equity also will be added to our spell save DC, so difficulty class to resist the spell is actually 26. Technically enemy will need to roll critical success, so only if enemy rolls 20 then they can resist, otherwise it's 100% chance to banish enemies from existence. So you can start with Arcane Surge and just remove 4 enemies from battlefield for 2 turns. Strike someone with Luminous Arrow, and if you will hit, you will inflict Radiating Orb, so they will probably miss attacks on the next turn. At the same time, with Jolt Shooter we're dealing lightning damage, and with lightning damage we're getting lightning resistance every hit. Add someone who can give you different types of elemental attacks, and you basically will be able to have resistance to almost any type of damage you need. With ranged spell attacks you have 100% chance to hit, I mean 99% chance to hit of course, only if you're rolling critical miss you will miss, and whenever we hit we're also inflicting Reverberation and Radiant Orb. That's again removing ability to hit us constantly, and honestly that's one of the most broken builds for Arcane Archer you may find. I hope you enjoyed this all different druid builds, but did you know you can one-shot last boss with just 1 hit? Or maybe you want more broken builds for Baldurs Gate 3? Watch these 2 videos on the screen right now and see you there.